All right. So the Salt Lake City Major is starting in just over a week. So that means today I get to talk about it and we get to discuss it. So today we're going to or I am just going to go over the teams that are attending. And then we're going to go after that. And you can just skip to this part in the video, of course. Just do the predictions for phase one of the major, which is only the 8 teams that did not qualify directly into phase two and have to basically play the preliminaries to get into the main part of the major. So um, yeah, just going over the teams quickly. We're going to start with China and then work our way up towards the more known regions from here. So yeah, now for the first time ever, we have China as a region in siege, and just like the other main regions, they um, got 4 major spots. But because they're new, unlike the bigger regions where they get 3 out of their 4 other teams qualifying directly into stage two, because they're new, only the first place team from China goes directly into stage two. That being all gamers, um, who got first place in kickoff. We're going to be talking about these 3 Chinese teams: Edward, Wolves, and 4 Angry Men. If you've watched Siege before, you'd be familiar with Wolves because they were in EU for quite a while um, after picking up the X Vitality roster. Um, and now the remnants of that roster are kind of like spread out, but across the league, someone like Fnatic and Shifters. So yeah, now they moved to China, and they're kind of in a weird situation too for this major, where Wolves they dropped 2 players after they qualified to the major, because I believe they um, 2 of the players were saying like racist stuff. Either I don't know if it's currently, but at least they had in their past. But yeah, it's they're this team's in such a strange position where yeah, they're going to the major and we don't know 2 of the players on the team. Um, so they're like they could be picking up players with like a week before the major. So I don't really have much expectations for Wolves. Um, but yeah, Edward Gaming, they're gonna be like the highest seed out of China. That's gonna be in phase one. Um, we may recognize Mentalist here. I also have not really watched China at all. Like the time zone is just terrible for me to watch. Um, I didn't really watch this league at all. Also, they don't have an English broadcast. That doesn't help either. So yeah. Um, but yeah, it's nice to have like some familiar uh, veteran player on the team that's probably helped this team a lot. And also I checked their stats. I did check their stats. This direction guy, he has almost a 2 KD in the China league. He's like plus 80. This guy, I don't know who he is. But he has been like frying people. So definitely something to look out for. And I believe most of these Chinese teams do not Edward, but a lot of these Chinese teams, yeah, they don't have Chinese coaches. Um, but Edward does. They are China maxing. So yeah, and you'd be familiar with Edward Gaming, uh, if anyone's into like Valorant esports, which I don't know. I tune into from time to time on their like big events, but I don't really watch any of their regional leagues or shit. So then we have 4 Angry Men. This team also participated in the like the China SI LCQ. Um, they didn't do too well there since they made some changes. The most recognizable player here would probably be Gotti because he was previously with the PSG Talon team with Fabian. Before that kind of all blew up. Um, and I'm not sure what role he's going to have on this team because PSG Talon he was in the more supportive role, but I don't know if he'll um, be in that here because it's just a completely different team. So and then like I said, Wolves are just a mess, bro. I don't even know what to say about this team, but they're just they're in the shits. And then yeah, of course we have All Gamers. They seem to be like definitely the most stable team. They almost won actually the APAC SILCQ. They were very close to winning it and going to SI in pairs, but they didn't. They got second place. Um, but they've kept, I believe it's the same team from the LCQ. Maybe one change, but I think it's the same team. And they're just continuing to build on that success. And I mean, it seems to be going good for them so far. They got first place here in kickoff again. So yeah. Next, we'll go to our various APAC representatives. So a little weird, but for this major, it was the Asia League got 2 spots. The APAC North got 1 spot, and Oceania got 1 spot. So it was that also extra brutal for the APAC leagues because they only have 8 teams, so there was no group stage. They just instantly went into the double elim playoff bracket, which is pretty crazy to just start playing best of threes off rip. Um, and you can get, if you have a bad day, it can go real bad. But I would say we still got like the best quality out of here. Um, so yeah, we got Weibo, of course. Everyone expects Weibo to be making the events. I mean, they're by far probably the APAC team that people say is like the best chance to actually win an event. And then Daystar are back again after making SI as well. They made one change last offseason. They um, swapped out Joe Gore for Bin Bin, and they're back again. So yeah, same teams from Asia from the last event and also here. Also have CAG, of course, classic. And thank you, CAG, for the successful hate watch on the imported D plus Kia team. Um, it's honestly sad, bro, watching them because it's like they have some players on that team, Brazilian team, of course, that were like once like elite in the Brazil league like years ago. Like they have Muzi now, who I think everyone knows was just such a great player on NIP in like 2020 and 2021 and even 2022. Um, but yeah, I mean the fall off is rough to watch honestly from some of the players on that team. Um, but yeah, nice to see no import team coming in from APAC this time, so that's great. And then we have Enterprise, of course. This was also like not a surprise. I mean, it's literally like the Exodia of Australia here they assembled. So yeah. And next we have SAL. Furia are back with their new roster, and this is definitely one of those teams where it was like in my mind it was either going to be like really bad or really good, more leaning towards really good, and they did look really, and it was really good this stage for them. Um, I think the one kind of not so great spot for this Furia team would have been Baki Zera. He didn't play like amazing or anything. He didn't play terrible, but he was just kind of like all right. He was cool. No, nothing special, especially for like all the hype he was getting. On the other hand, Diaz has been like farming in the Brazil league because of his role. How everyone in Brazil, like everyone likes to move all the time, and when you have Diaz who just like sits on angles and holds them, he's just gonna farm up kills. So he's been great for this Furia team, and same with Volps. Volps's shield play is disgusting and looks very unfun to play against. Um, so yeah, and of course Herds as well. Um, Still with the team, we know Herds is nasty, and then same with Loira. Big fan of this pickup for Furia too. Like the Herds Loira entry duo is absolutely disgusting. So I didn't expect them to win the SAL. I'm not gonna lie though, but they did. So they are definitely looking like a pretty strong contender for the tournament here. And then we have NIP as well. They're back. They definitely look a little rejuvenated after um, swapping out IGLs. They replaced Cons with Baseto, and I mean NIP made the major and Cons did not. So what does that say? I mean, also, I mean W7M they lost Volps, which is just rough, bro. He swear every time Volps goes to a new team, they just get way better. Um, that guy just elevates a team's ceiling every time. So yeah, I mean NIP definitely looking a lot better. Also, nice to see this team not completely relying on fantasy or hates to do like everything for them to just completely carry them. So that was nice to see from them this stage. Of course, FaZe are here. No one's surprised. It looked a little scary for them for a sec after they got sent to the lower bracket early in the playoffs, but I mean, everyone knew they'd be here. FaZe is funny too because they won so much where it's like some games where they start off maps or even like they don't even look like they're trying half the time, and then they go, "Let me lock in real quick," and then they win like 6 rounds in a row, and then win. So, and then the big surprise from Brazil is Los, especially. I'm not surprised about Perez being good. I knew that. Um, and Dash has been a pretty good addition as well. But like Perez, oh my god, he carried this team to this spot. He went 20, I think it was 25-5 in map 3 versus Fluxo W7M on Consulate to get them here, which is just insane. I'm a little afraid we're going to have a situation like we did um, a couple years ago with E1 in the Manchester Major, which I actually want to um, uh, oh man, fucking typed it wrong. But yeah, E1. It was this major, yeah. Yeah, where they went to phase 2 and then it got wiped the floor by like just APAC teams. They didn't even play anyone particularly good and they were just terrible. Cause I believe Perez was on this team. Yeah, he was. But his teammates were the rest of like the who where are these players now? I think they're on like ints. Most of these guys. I think STK might be with Loud, but like um but yeah, this team was like terrible, and this is like these players are definitely better than the players on this team. So like I think they'll do a little better, um, but I still don't see them really as like a playoff team in the top 8. But you know they could surprise. Paris could just carry the whole event. Who knows? Um, but yeah, next we have NA. So I think everyone's biggest surprise is 5 years, right? They won the NAL. JJ Blast makes a major. Um, Ballsack Nation at the major, and with Forest as well. And then like huge come up this stage, especially from Rival. You know, not a great like first rookie year in Siege, but he's been really good for them this stage, and so has Snake. Um, Fens has been cool. He's been doing his job. Um, and yeah. Next we have Wildcard, who like, oh my god, bro, the game they played against M80 was like so insane, bro. They got they won barely in overtime, and then they got smoked on Fortress, and then they barely won in overtime again, um, to make the major, um, with an insane like Spiker, like kind of clutch on that last round as well, where he dropped on the planner and the cover and killed them both with a shotty from the con hatch into bar. Where, but that was crazy too, bro. Wildcard put their major chances on the line on a 7-7 map 3 bar defense on Clubhouse and won it. So, yeah, the Adrian acquisition is looking good. Baby Shark definitely struggled in the stage, but he was a little better in the playoffs for them. Um, so that was good. And I think he'll be better internationally too, because I just feel like in NA, people are kind of just used to how he plays now, and he's kind of a little figured out there. Everyone knows what his plays are every time. So Kansan, of course, I mean everyone knows Kansan is the goat. Um, and then Spiker is kind of we're on the Spiker is the best IGL in NA propaganda. So next we have DZ. I think everyone pretty much expected them to be here after their changes. Everyone knew, looking just on paper, that it was good changes, and they indeed did make it. It was a little close for them, but they are here, and I mean, I do expect this team to do pretty well. All the players on this team are really good. And then, of course, Shopify are here. You can't have a major without Canadian. Um, the big surprise from NA, which I'm kind of glad I didn't make this video until today now because I was thinking about making it the other day. Um, but big news broke where about M80, of course. I'm sure people who have keep up with CG Sports know already, but they dropped hot and cold after failing to make the major, um, which is a pretty insane change because I don't know who they're getting. I only saw I don't even know if it's rumors, but like just hints that they might like try out Savage from Secret um, for the IGL spot because it's either that because like I don't know what they're doing. It's like I don't know who they have lined up, right? It's like yeah, they either get another IGL, but like there's no like they'd either have to pick up a rookie IGL which would probably take time to um, get used to tier one and everything and used to the team, either or pick up an experienced IGL from another region because there aren't any available in NA that I know of. So there's that option, or they pick up Kaysen, which is probably the number one NA prospect, and then they have someone like Ash and maybe move to IGL or something. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with M80, but pretty crazy change since they got eliminated from major contention a couple weeks ago. So yeah, next we have G2. Definitely one of the teams coming into this major as favorites as well, along with like the likes of FaZe and Furia and probably Falcons. They look like elite in the stage. Like it felt like even the rounds where they were down multiple people, every time there was just always a chance they could clutch, and there were so many clutches. It felt like so many rounds that they just easily clawed back, where it was just like they purely just out talented other teams. Um, but it's not only the talent; the strats look really good. They have like so many strats. For it seems for every site they have the more bunkered down for defense. The more bunkered down behind the wall denial, the K, the two brow, the bandit. Um, smoke, waste time, or they have like the more layered stuff with traps, where they play to fight more, waste more time that way, and then etc. And the one thing I did expect them to look good is the attacks. I always saw Alamau's style of attacking um, was pretty good. It depends on the team he has too. Sometimes it just doesn't work as well with the players, but with this team, it just looks really good. Like Benjamin Master has like pretty much slotted in perfectly to kind of the Loira role. Stompin is on like Blaz's role and doing not that Blaz was doing bad on the role he was on at all, but Stompin is just putting up better numbers on the same role. Um, when Doki shows up, it's great. Um, and then Shaiko's been like amazing for them. And then Alamau has just been like doing his job, as the IGL, planting the bomb, playing the shields, doing the dirty work. So yeah, and then VP are back. I definitely kind of expected this out of VP. I really like their changes in the off season, and they are finally back at the major. Um, the one thing I'm concerned about is VP is um, right now they kind of seem to have like one plan and they stick with that plan no matter what. They don't really seem to have any like adaptions or secondary options to their strats yet, which is a little concerning. It works a little better in EU, but I feel like against some of the BR and even some of the NA teams, they might struggle a little more, um, because they really telegraph their stuff. It's really bad. Um, if other teams can read it, but when it's not read correctly, it looks really good for VP. So Twisted Minds. I definitely talked about Twisted Minds coming into this, so they could be a sneaky team for the major, and yet they did indeed qualify to the major. Um, they also look very annoying to play against. Like this team is very can be like very aggressive, but also like they're so like ratty, bro. Oh my god. Um, this would be like Twisted Minds would be like my personal like nightmare team to scrim against. It just does not look fun to play against them at all, which is like that's a good thing when you're like in a competitive esport or sport. You do not want to be give your opponents a fun time to play against you. So definitely Twisted Minds are going to be like a hard out for any team, I think, at the major. And then Falcons, um, of course, they made the big change of swapping out Shaiko for Joom. I still think, even though they're starting off the major in phase one, I still think, um, you can consider them contenders just because, like, the teams, past and also um, the players on the team still are just elite and are, built to go far in tournaments. So, yeah, let's talk about the format because for stage one, at least, because it's the same. It's going to be the same as Manchester. So at least the way it worked here in Manchester, I'm assuming it's going to be the same. Um, is you had this for phase one, right? You had your 8 teams in phase one, and they would just basically play this double elim bracket for qualification to phase two. But the way it worked is like if you lost, you would like you would get flipped to the other side of the bracket, at least in round two. So like you see when it's kind of weird to predict. So which makes it makes it a little weird to predict. So like you see when Bleed lost SG here, they don't go to like the top. They're in the top side of the bracket, but they go to the bottom side of the bracket here, and then same with Geeke. They lost in the bottom of the bracket, but then they go to the upper part of the lower bracket. So definitely makes it a little hard to predict. Plus, for here, we don't know the matchups yet. We just know the teams. Um, so is there any way? I believe it's going to be like. I believe this is how it's going to work though, because I believe for Manchester's like G2 is like the one seed, 2 seed, 3 seed, 4 seed. I would assume, right? Something like that, and then they would play. Um, actually, no, because G2, I don't really get it. I don't really get it. It's weird because G2 played Liquid, SSG played Cruelty or Terrible, Bleed Keg, and then Geek Fearx. I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know how it works. I don't know how they determine who plays who, because that really will shake things up. Because like if we get a Shopify Falcons matchup for the first day on of the upper bracket quarters here, it could really change the outcome because if like one of those teams gets sent to lowers right away, it could get a little scary for them. So yeah, um, only 4 teams will make it out for predictions. And kind of what's on the line for predictions is, of course, as per usual, the event exclusive skin, um, which we can have a look at here. It's pretty nice, this one. I do like it. Um, very nice skin there. I think designed by Kubi. And then, of course, you get the battle pass at pretty much like max points. So hard to get again. I hope I can do better than SI. And my SI predictions were rough. Partially because I predicted based on teams I wanted to win and not logically. So it's kind of my fault. So this time maybe we'll just go like the obvious. We'll go like the on paper who should make it out. So it's like obviously, these are my like top two here, and then for here this is where it gets hard because it's like you have Los, who I do expect to make it out of this, and then you have the rest. So like for here, like your top three are gonna be for pretty much everyone. I would assume it's gonna be you're gonna put either one of Falcons, Shopify, or Los, or two of those, and then the other one you're gonna put here. I would say for pretty much everyone, and then you have the rest. So you have your three Chinese teams, Daystar, and then Daystar, Enterprise. Uh, or is that it? Oh yeah, that's it. So the three Chinese teams and Daystar and Enterprise. So we have EP, who are like the stacked Australian team. Daystar, who we know they can shoot. They gave Falcons quite a scare at SI, if you remember, actually, was it Furia? Might have been both of those teams actually. Um, it might have actually been Furia that I remember. They took Furia to 3 maps, and they were kind of shooting in that game. So yeah, and then we have Wolves. We're not taking Wolves Pro. Like I said earlier, that roster is just like fucked. Um, for Angry Men, I mean they're like the 4th place team in China. We're probably not taking them, and we probably don't trust them enough. So it's really between your Daystar, Edward, and then Enterprise, because Edward definitely have some like experience on the team. Um, with their not only their staff, I think it's NATO, who has been like staff for other teams in the past, and then they have Mentalist, of course, who, if you know anything about CG Sports, Mentalist has been around for a long time and was previously on the Weibo roster, as well as if you go farther back, like Aerowolf uh, and then Invictus and Giants Gaming. So yeah, and then Enterprise, who, like I said, are the really strong Aussie team coming into the event. So for me, I really feel like this kind of like you're flipping a 3-sided coin here with these 3 teams, because it's like I feel like between these 3 it's gonna be like whoever shows up on the day, whoever's better. And honestly, I wanna go with Enterprise. I want to see the Aussies get to stage 2. Um, it's been a long time since we had like an Aussie team like be like a good team. So I'm gonna take them. Again, make sure for your predictions, once you have them in, you have to be logged into your Ubisoft account to save them. So make sure you log in and save, and then you can edit anytime um, before this timer runs out, which is basically when the major starts. So yeah, unless there's anything else I have to talk about, I think we're just gonna sit back, relax, enjoy phase 1, see who makes it out, and then head into predictions for the Swiss stage. So yeah, good luck on everyone's predictions, and I will be back for my next round of predictions for the Swiss bracket. So yeah, have a good one, and bye.